the.
not part of
Do
the
not do it
recording?
again. Do
All
not
right,
do it
I'm not gonna
again.
do it.
And just, you can welcome everyone now.
All right. Okay, so tonight we're in chapter 14, Bringing Illusions to Truth. We're going to read part 5, The Recognition of Holiness, and that's paragraphs 38 to 45. I do believe that is the whole one.
Pretty short,
correct? Huh? They're big paragraphs, so oh no, I guess they're not.
Not too bad. I can't tell that's, he's got the large print. Everything looks big.
Yeah. Yeah. Couple pages.
So we get to chat a lot tonight.
What?
We
Okay,
get to chat.
so if you would like to read, raise your hand and Joy will randomly select people as I write them down.
Who's that? And Paula.
Okay.
And Richard and Joe and Tony.
Joe, Tony.
Do I hear anyone else?
Paula's cat.
Nobody else gonna read?
Can the cat read?
Well, how many do you need?
Well, I don't know.
You thought you and me? Oh no, yeah, you and me. How many paragraphs are there?
8.
There's 8 paragraphs. We need 2 more, right?
Yeah.
2 more. Oh, Steve's gonna read.
Okay.
2 more. 1 more reader.
1 more.
Who do I read after?
Oh, we'll tell you.
Tony.
Tony.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's always good to know. I know.
I will.
Who's that? Oh, Christine. Okay.
Hey.
Oh yeah, I got the Whole Foods is coming. Is out for delivery. Oh boy.
45.
Did you say chapter 14, the recognition of holiness?
Yes, that's correct.
I'm right on it. Okay.
You're right on it. Okay, all right, we've got the reading list. I would ask you now to mute your microphones during the meditation so that we don't get a stray cat or a phone ringing or, home invasion or anything else that might make noise during the meditation during the 2 minutes of silence.
Right. And did you explain?
I'm so upbeat today.
I know. Did you explain, since we have some new people, that the way what we do, we read one and then the person reads.
I can
We're
do
gonna
that.
do that later?
Out of
Okay,
meditation.
all right.
Yeah, that works. Out
So-
of meditation.
All right. So we'll begin now.
Okay.
So we'll begin by closing your eyes, if you feel comfortable doing that. And take that awareness within. We draw all of our awareness within. And this is a signal. By closing our eyes, we give a signal to the body that we're letting go of all the external focus, the outside focus. We're going to take our focus within. And they say that as you close your eyes, the brain wave pattern changes just by closing your eyes. And this is a signal also to our bodies to relax. We close our eyes when we go to sleep. It's a signal that we're not going anywhere. There's nothing we need to do. We can relax. We can let go. We can just release all that we've been holding on to very tightly. You can let the world down for a little while and pick it up later. But for right now, we're going to relax. It's so powerful to do this with others as well, to consciously, purposefully relax. And so as we do this, you might feel the tension being released from the body, tension you didn't even know you were holding on to. Sometimes I will guide everyone to think of an area of the body, beginning perhaps with the head. And if you think of, for example, the scalp, as soon as you think of that area, it's a signal to that area to relax. So as soon as you bring your focus to any area, it will relax. So we bring a focus to the forehead, all the awareness there, and that's the signal for it to relax. And the nose and the eyes and the cheeks and the chin. The face muscles relax as we bring our focus there. And next, we think of the neck, we bring our focus there, and as soon as we do, it relaxes. And now the back. Let's start with the shoulders. Bring all your awareness to the shoulders. Feel them relax. Let's go down the back, the shoulder blades, the back, the middle back, the lower back. All of the back relaxes. And then the front of the torso, the top of the torso, the middle, and the abdomen. All of the front of the torso relaxes. And now the legs. You bring your awareness, become aware of the legs. And those muscles relax. As soon as you become aware of the thighs and the knees and the calves, that's the signal for those muscles to relax. Top of the feet, soles, the heels relax. And now the arms, top of the arms, and the elbows and the forearms, they relax. Top of the hands and the palms and all the fingers. Your body's relaxed. Let's bring our awareness to the breath. Just let the body go. Let it go. And just watch the breath. It's very relaxed. As you inhale, imagine that you're bringing inspiration into the body. And exhale, you're not only relaxing further, but you're purifying, you're detoxing the body. Inhale, bringing nutrients to the body with the prana. And exhale, releasing, relaxing, and detoxifying, purifying. Inhale, inspiration, energy. Exhale, relax, purify. And then just breathing on your own, just naturally, normally. Feeling relaxed. I'm going to go into the lesson for today in our relaxed state. We do this relaxation because we're relaxing not only the body, but our thoughts. We are relaxing the surface thoughts that perpetuate the separation with the idea that we are guilty, sinful, and even that we're going to die. We let all of that go because we are guiltless and sinless, eternal children of God. We're opening to the loving thoughts of our source. And so our lesson today is, I give the miracles I have received. And it seems that we receive these miracles from the vision of Christ. Several times he talks about Christ's vision in this lesson. He says, Christ's vision is a miracle. It comes from far beyond itself, for it reflects eternal love and the rebirth of love which never died, but has been kept obscure. Christ's vision is the miracle in which all miracles are born. It is their source, remaining with each miracle you give, and yet remaining yours. Christ's vision is the bridge between the worlds, and in its power can you safely trust to carry you from this world into one made holy by forgiveness. Christ's vision is the holy ground in which the lilies of forgiveness set their roots. This is their home. They can be brought from here back to the world, but they can never grow in its unnourishing and shallow soil. They need the light and warmth and kindly care Christ's charity provides. They need the love with which he looks on them, and they become his messengers who give as they receive. And so today I give the miracles I have received. And we're going to take this into our 2-minute meditation, and I'll bring us out. Give the miracles I have received. When we're ready, we'll open our eyes. How did you like that, Steve?
You still.
That was for you.
Did you used to teach yoga?
Yeah.
So did I, but you hit it tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I might teach again. I'm thinking of maybe doing a live yoga on I was thinking we could do live tonight. I can do a live Facebook and YouTube yoga. I think
You know what I was thinking is that, our surface mind thoughts are sometimes, like we get guidance from it. We've learned to guide that. But the body is a lot smarter, and it can lead me to what you were doing, is that inner peace. The body will instruct me. It's smarter than my surface mind.
Hmm. Yeah, and sometimes just the physical act of closing your eyes, they say that your brain switches from what, alpha to some other type of waves or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the names are, but yeah.
Okay, we're in chapter 14, bringing illusions to truth.
I want to welcome Anna. I heard that little
hi, Anna.
chime come in, and that little angel joined us.
Okay, we're in part 5, the recognition of holiness. We're going to read paragraphs 38 to 45. For the new readers on the call tonight, you read one paragraph and you have the floor if something comes up during that paragraph for you, so that you can share. If you finish your paragraph and you do not have anything, you can just say pass, or I'm complete, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like me, tell a joke. No, don't do that. Okay, all right. Paragraph 38, Paula, can you read that for us? It starts with atonement does not make holy.
Bringing allusions to truth, the recognition of holiness. The atonement does not make holy. You were created holy. It merely brings unholiness to holiness, or what you made to what you are. The bringing together of truth and illusion, of the ego to God, is the Holy Spirit's only function. Keep not your making from your Father, for hiding it has cost you knowledge of him and of yourself. The knowledge is safe, but wherein is your safety apart from it? The making of time to take the place of timelessness lay in the decision to be not as you were. Thus, truth was made past, and the present was dedicated to illusion. And the past too was changed and interposed between what always was and now. The past which you remember never was and represents only the denial of what always was. Ooh.
Wow.
The past which you remember never was and represents only the denial of what always was. That's a little hard to grasp. I don't know what that means.
Would it help if you said the denial of what always is, but the last word is rather than was? You're always a child of God.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, don't make it past tense.
So the
Make it-
past
make it-
represents only the denial of what always is.
Yeah.
That's cool.
well, it's
Because
just
what was and what is.
what always was.
If you change it to is, though, it's
Sounds a
because
little
it
bit-
was, is, and always will be.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's actually referencing the truth of who we are.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Which your
I think so.
with which your past has clouded that with illusion?
Oh, yeah, most likely.
No, okay, all right. So we've been who we are all along, but everything in our past, we've done everything in our past to prevent that.
Except probably those moments of now when we felt ourself, our true self,
Right.
those moments, and they'll last forever.
Oh, cool.
And that's the only part of the past for me, that's the only part of the past that is always. And so it's not past, it actually, right?
Yeah.
I think Steve wants to say something about this.
Okay, you want to?
Well, you got to come off of mute though. There you go, Steve.
Thank you, Paula.
Thanks.
And the sentence before the last was that my past is a memory that I've changed into something that was never.
Yeah.
No, I can agree with that. I did that.
You can or can't agree with that.
No, I agree with that because I actually did it. When I heard Paula read that, I realized that I've done that. So
That you've done what?
change the past.
You've changed the past?
Sure.
Your memory of the past isn't what is true.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what it was. Especially when you tell stories.
Yeah.
And it's like fishing stories. The fish just gets
Oh, I see.
bigger,
Tell stories about the past.
bigger and bigger and
That
bigger.
recount the
yeah.
past.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Till we have to get a bigger boat, and so that's enough Jaws references.
You know what's so cool? Where did I hear this? Oh, I
With
think
your
last
ears?
night I was on a Course of Love call. You know, Steve, the one that they have Wednesday evenings with Paula and everything. And I've never been on it. I post it every Wednesday. I post it to SoundCloud, but I've never been on it. And so I thought, oh, I'll get on it. And it talked about Reverend Bill's on there too, and talked about this thing of time where actually everything is right now. anything that ever happened is right now. Everything that's going to happen is right now. That's sort of mind completely boggling, is this simultaneous time. And so if that's so, then everything that was true that happened in the past is there right now to access. The illusions don't mean anything because they're not real, but what's true in the past and what's true in the future and what's true in the present is all right here now that we can access in that beautiful holy instant of now, where everything, no wonder things seem complete when you get to that point. It seems completely complete because it involves everything that it could ever involve. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to say no.
You're going to not say no.
I don't know if this is true, but my old teacher said that it's all of the loving things that you get to bring with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll let you know when I die, because that's just a belief. I'm not interested in belief.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, I
But
mean,
it's a nice belief.
yeah,
Well, the Course says that,
yeah.
so you never, I think it's true.
Well, yeah, I believe it, but I don't know it. All I know is now.
Right.
Yeah. There've been a lot of recounts of near-death experience and even people who have passed and talked through mediums, So I think it's a good thing to look forward to.
I think so.
Or we could do it now.
I don't think we're going to have emotions the way a human has emotions, but I remember the end of Ghost when Patrick Swayze said the only thing you take with you is the love.
Oh, how about
Oh, is that right? He said that too? Maybe my guy
That's a Demi
stole
Moore.
it from Patrick Swayze.
Now,
so it's got to be true.
well, no, wait a minute. He says that, but just before that, he killed a guy. So it's like, yeah. So I'm going like, wow, okay.
Take the good with the bad,
Maybe
right?
it took a teeny bit of revenge with you. Okay, let's go on. Paragraph 39. Rich, can you read that for us? Bringing the ego to God.
Okay, 39. Bringing the ego to God. Bringing the ego to God is but to bring error to truth, where it stands corrected because it is the opposite of what it meets and is undone, because the contradiction can no longer stand. How long can contradiction stand when its impossible nature is clearly revealed? What disappears in light is not attacked. It merely vanishes because it is not true. Different realities are meaningless, for reality must be one. It cannot change from time or mood or chance. Its changelessness is what makes it real. This cannot be undone. Undoing is for unreality. And this reality will do for you. Comments very quick. This reality testing thing, it comes up quite a few times in here. It's interesting that when you see something, you'll automatically realize it and draw the conclusions or undraw them. Yeah, that comes up a lot, and kind of reflecting on that lately. Yeah, that's my favorite little bit there. Like some of this stuff, I kind of like lost the thread in the last couple sentences. So if anyone has a comment about that, well, I like that a little bit. I'm complete.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Richard. While people are thinking about maybe sharing something, I like that part where it says, and is undone. It says, bringing the ego to God is but to bring error to truth, where it stands corrected because it is the opposite of what it meets, and is undone because the contradiction can no longer stand. And that's what came to mind was Christ's vision, and say you're with somebody and they're not seeing their own light. They're not, of course, they're not seeing your light. They can't see any light. They're in a really bad place. And so now to open up to what's real about yourself and what's real about that person, it's just an experience. I mean, or it's a knowing. And from that place of being, you extend it to that person in your body. Minds are joined in your thoughts and maybe even in your words, but it is felt. And I've seen it happen where that contradiction cannot be maintained. The contradiction between, love, which is real, and the illusion that they were holding on to. So that's what that brought up for me, was watching that disappear, and when its impossible nature is clearly revealed. I remember having an argument with this person I think I've had, I don't know how many past lives with. One time I was told that he was a priest and I was a nun, and I think I got pregnant or something. So it's so God, oh God. And that's why we could not be intimate. This man and I couldn't, I couldn't. And she explained, and I didn't say that to her, this was psychic, but she told me why I can't. But anyway, we were having an argument, go figure. And not, it was years and years ago. And we were having an argument, and right in the middle, and we started the course together. This was back in 83. And I said, right in the middle of the argument, heated argument, ready to kill each other, I said, I love you. I just remember that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And it was so amazing. And we just the whole thing just ended, because we knew the reality is that we loved each other, with agape love, So anyway,
Silence. I kill you.
Yes, Steve.
Well, I was going to say something else, but what you just reminded me of is when I was a little boy, I remember at one point crying for some emotional reason. Then I looked at myself in the mirror and I just smiled. But the thing I was going to say is that to bring the untruth to the truth reminds me of this altar that I have a feeling about. I also have a vision about this ancient altar. But the way the altar works of making it disappear is my willingness to put it on the altar. But now with this added idea of it just disappears, because that's what the altar does with untruth. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's push on to paragraph 40. Joe, can you read that for us? It starts with merely by being.
Yes, thank you. Merely by being what it is does truth release you from everything that it is not. The atonement is so gentle, you need but whisper to it, and all its power will rush to your assistance and support. You are not frail with God beside you, yet without him you are nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The atonement offers you God. The gift which you refused is held by him in you. His spirit holds it there for you. God has not left his altar, though his worshiper placed other gods upon it. The temple still is holy, for the presence that dwells within it is holiness. I just think that's beautiful. And thank God that that space is always held, even when I forget.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's a beautiful paragraph.
What's one of those cafeteria cards? Oh shoot, I forgot it.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
What is it? What is it? What is a little part of it? What's the idea?
It's if it's always there, it's always been there. Love wait.
Oh, love, wait, love, waits on welcome, not on time.
There.
Yeah. Is that what it was?
Yeah. Where's my memory pills? Yeah.
I hope I'm not bogarting, but I'm just being moved. I never looked at the atonement as a gentle energy field, so gentle that I need but whisper to it. I never thought about the atonement as this kind
Yeah.
of like this energy field that rushes.
It's almost like the Force in Star Wars. It's invisible. But it's always there. And
It's a divine garbage disposer.
there you go. I like that idea. Oh, that's cool.
And it's in the next one too, where he says, it talks about gentleness. Oh, interesting. I thought that was the paragraph, but it was the next
Nope.
one. Gentle.
Okay, paragraph 41. Tony, can you read for us? In the temple holiness?
In the temple, holiness waits quietly for the return of them that love it. The present knows that they will return to purity and to grace. The graciousness of God will take them gently in and cover all their sense of pain and loss with immortal assurance of their Father's love. There, fear of death will be replaced with joy of living. For God is life, and they abide in life. Life is as holy as the holiness by which it was created. The presence of holiness lives in everything that lives. For holiness created life and leaves not what it created holy as itself.
Wow.
Again, I think it's just beautiful. I'm complete.
Sometimes it's so hard to choose, when we do the lessons, mailing, and I pick out a paragraph, it's so hard because all of these are magnificent. That one, all of them.
All of them.
And then sometimes I hate to say it, but sometimes I can't pick one. Yeah.
Well, you're having a lot of confession tonight.
Yeah, I am.
So 5 Our Fathers and 3 Hail Marys.
I was just gonna say now, I mean,
Bless me, Father, for I
you
have
used
sinned.
to be a pregnant nun, so
I was a bad girl.
I guess so.
I didn't know that about you. Okay.
Bless me, Father, because I haven't sinned. Jeez.
So what jumped out at me, and it's one of those things that's repeated over and over. Holiness created life and leaves not what it created holy as itself. This idea that it's we decided, oh, I'm separate. Oh, I'm going to do my own thing. I don't need God. I can be my own God. I can choose things to want. But it's like that never left me. I thought it did, or I thought I made it or something, but it's like that never left. And so it's like, to me, that's the atonement. It's just like, oh, I had this whole fantasy in my head and that was never true. So that's why it's gentle, because it's not a big, like, we have to destroy something or prove it wrong. It's just like, oh, it's just like, what? There's no Santa Claus, really? And once I was looking at my journal and I'd written about that at some point. It's like, once you know there's no Santa Claus, like, you don't go back and forth. Well, maybe there is Santa Claus. It's just like, no, there's no Santa Claus. If there's
No, you got it right.
if there's a noise in your chimney, you think, oh, it's a squirrel. You don't think about Santa Claus.
Now you can also say that about Satan and the devil and hell and Beelzebub.
I don't know. You can have
There in
that
the chimney?
about that. What's
No,
that? Tony?
not coming down the chimney, but I mean, it's the
That's
same.
what I thought.
It's the same concept. Once you realize that there is no Satan, you can't go back to, oh yeah, there's a Satan.
Why not?
There's your ego.
Duh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think.
Where's my ego? But I still want a button that says, let go my ego,
Ego.
not ego or
Remember-
leg or ego, Lego. No, not Lego, the waffle, ego. Right. Let go my ego, right? So just take
Yeah.
one G out of it and it'd be let go my ego.
Somebody on our calls, morning calls, used to call the ego. I forget who that was.
Ego.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ego.
Okay, paragraph 42. Steve, can you read that for us? In this world you can become.
This world, you can become a spotless mirror in which the holiness of your Creator shines forth from you to all around you. You can reflect heaven here, yet no reflections of the images of other gods must dim the mirror that would hold God's reflection in it. Earth can reflect heaven or hell, God or the ego. You need but leave the mirror clean and clear of all the images of hidden darkness you have drawn upon it. God will shine upon it of himself. Only the clear reflection of himself can be perceived upon it. Reflections are seen in light. In darkness, they are obscure, and their meaning seems to lie only in shifting interpretations rather than in themselves.
Wow.
Reflect on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Lately, I've been thinking. I looked up for some reason, what is fusion? Which is the opposite of confusion. But the sun puts out fusion. What it is when two nucleuses come together, it releases energy because it's lighter. And when I turn 180 degrees to that perfect mirror, and inside of me is that also, it's a mirror and it's also pure light. There's this implosion, and then I can't help but shine it out like the sun. Whether the earth is here or not, fusion happens. Explosion, implosion happens. Extension happens. So I love the idea of a perfect mirror with the light being reflected. Whoo! I'm in.
That was nice.
Thank you, Steve. How do we do that?
Turn 180 degrees in.
Yep.
There you go. No, not out, in.
This is Anna, and this is a very powerful little paragraph. So heaven can be right here, right now. Earth can reflect heaven or hell based upon my state of awareness. I think the atonement is what brings heaven to earth. And I think that the Holy Atonement is a very gentle answer. I find it a beautiful thing to surrender the ego. And I find the relief immediate. I think that the choice for the atonement is what clears that mirror. It is what flips the switch on and brings the light on in the room of my mind. And I become aware of who I really am. So in some traditions, they believe that the bringing of heaven to earth is hieros gamos. It is the rising of the kundalini through the body, which is the flipping of the switch, the turning on of the light. I just think that it's such a deep reality that I don't have to die to wait for heaven. And that through the atonement, it is that light that reflects in the mirror. And I can see that I never really left heaven. Thank you, I'm complete.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Anna.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you for that.
What good is heaven if you're dead anyway, right?
Well, doesn't it say heaven is here?
Yeah.
What's the
Yes.
There's no other place.
There's no
Heaven's
other
now.
place.
There's no other time.
right?
And that's for always.
And if you believe in hell, you're going to create it right here, right?
Anywhere.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So you pick.
Your choice.
You pick too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's read paragraph 43. Christine, can you start for us? The reflection of God.
I can, and I haven't peeked, but I think this might be one of my favorite paragraphs in the whole course. And
Wow.
I did grow up with a really bad stutter, and so if I ever stop talking, like it mostly went away at some point. But if I ever stop talking, that's what's happening. So it usually is just a quiet. I'm not talking anymore.
Okay.
So the reflection of God needs no interpretation. It is clear, clean but the mirror, and the message which shines forth from what the mirror holds out for everyone to see, no one can fail to understand. It is the message that the Holy Spirit is holding to the mirror that is in him. He recognizes it because he has been taught his need for it, but knows not where to find it. Let him then see it in you and share it with you. So, and it's kind of continuing that idea of, of course, the mirror. We are the mirror. Is the mirror clouded by images of these other gods? The money and all these things, or is it just, oh, there's nothing in the way, so God can strike that mirror, and then we reflect to other people so they can see without all that stuff in the way. For me, the basic message of the course is that we just put a bunch of crap in the way, and we can let God get rid of it and be happy again. Like, to me, that's the whole course. But I've never actually noticed that this passage has kind of that same idea, that there's something that's, the course talks about veils and walls and different things blocking, but that's a different kind of blocking. It's like, well, there's a mirror, but I can't see because there's something dirty there. And of course, like the wonderful thing is that, well, it's not really dirty. Like, it's this sort of paradox. And I believe, was it Anna or Anna who just spoke? Like, I believe that the course, everything in the course, it's a very practical guide about this moment. What are we choosing now? Where are we now? I think it has, because if we don't die, so how would physical death have anything to do with it? But that's like, so this is like another way to be thinking about it. It's like, what's the right now? Is my mirror clean, or is it there's something else happening? Yeah. And I was thinking of the next paragraph, because there's certain things usually make me cry when I hear them, but I think it's the next one or two. But
All right.
I'm complete.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Christine.
Go ahead, Paula.
Well, what she was just saying reminded me during the week, I was absolutely off. So off. I just couldn't, no matter what I did, I couldn't seem to get in alignment. And I just had the realization, I'm not here right now. Everything was from the past. The whole thing that had me upset was done and over. And we walk around, and just that moment of recognition was all it took just to switch out of it. I don't know why that seems so difficult at times.
It does. Richard wants to talk.
Go ahead, Richard.
Maybe this has some connection to, for now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know even as also I'm known. The main bit is through a glass darkly. It's, I think, a well-known line in King James Version, 1 Corinthians 13:12. This mere stuff might be saying something about that bit too.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead, Steve.
Have any of you, it happened twice in my life for an instant. I looked into this well-known guru at the time, and also one of his devoted followers, into their eyes, and it wasn't like what was reflected back was this perfect mirror of my soul. It wasn't like light, which I have seen, but it was actually looking into me. Have you guys ever seen that?
I have not.
I met my doppelganger once.
Your what?
My doppelganger, someone that was very similar looking to me.
This was a soul deep, not a facial recognition.
There's, I don't know, have people read David Hawkins?
Yes.
Yeah, I find it's kind of the same. This is a different way to put it, but he tells the story where he was walking down the street in New York City, and he was in this very expansive state, and he said he was looking at everybody, and he said, how did I get into so many faces?
That's similar.
That's the way that, that's the way that he.
Have you guys ever had that?
No, unfortunately.
Well, maybe unless I was stoned or something.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was riveting.
Yeah. Okay.
It would be, yes.
I had, it's not exactly that, but, and this was, I would say this was before I was, as immersed in the spiritual conversation as I am now. I was, and I mean, it's kind of crazy, but BKS Iyengar was the man who brought yoga to the West. And I studied with a teacher in San Francisco who'd been teaching in classes with him for 30 years. Every year he goes to India. And I had no idea. He was teaching at my health club. He taught at health clubs out of sort of a sense of mission. And I had no idea until afterwards that, it wasn't about yoga at all. It was this, spiritual transmission. But one time, Iyengar was visiting San Francisco, and the next time I went to class, they said he had dropped by the Institute just spontaneously. No one knew. And they said, yeah, he dropped by and he was here for a while, whatever. But even before I heard that, when I walked into the Institute, and again, I don't have the spiritual, astral projection, whatever, all of that background. There was this energy, and it's hard to describe. It was like clean is the way that I would describe, but there is this incredible, beautiful energy. And it was in the Institute, it was in the whole building. It was in the bathroom, and it lasted for several days, and it kind of started to fade. And it was kind of mind blowing. And I think if I'd actually seen him, I think I probably would have just cried or something, but that was, he wasn't even there, and there was still an imprint of something.
Ah,
Wow.
That reminds me of I lived on Nantucket Island for a while, and I met a person who's from Lebanon, and but he looked like a guru, the Lebanese with the beard and the dark hair and everything, and but it was the strangest thing that happened to me. Is after meeting him, I sort of had like this altered state of consciousness for a week, and it was forgiveness. I mean, I thought of it as forgiveness. Everything was blessed with forgiveness. It was so beautiful, just gentle, and there's hardly any words for it. It's pretty weird. It's just a person. I mean, he's not, he came to live in my little cottage for a while to take care of my son, just for a little while, but he's amazing. Anyway.
maybe you can do that for people yourself.
Oh.
I think you do for me.
Go ahead, Anna.
I was reading Hermes, and I have this experience often when I read Hermes of I was lifted into a pure state of revelation, and I became aware that this idea that I've lived the life of everyone and everyone's lived my life, that it's one mind, and all of our experiences go into this one mind, and the love is so profound that forgiveness became unnecessary. It became like it's we are all a reflection of the one holy Son of God here. And we seemingly are living in bits and pieces. But in a higher state of awareness, we're all contributing to Father reflecting experience through us. Like Father, Mother, God is looking through all of our eyes and experiencing creation through all of us. Everything that is living. And that's the beauty of that. If you go back a couple of paragraphs, the presence of holiness lives in everything that lives. For holiness created life and leaves not what it created holy as itself. And I had that experience that we're all just like learning here. And what we're learning is we're learning how to truly love. And it was just, I guess, revelation. And for some reason, Hermes really sends me there. When I read Hermes, I connect in or I link into an ascended state that is so profound. And I experience the oneness of the Son of God. And it's truly beautiful. And after I had that revelation for 2 straight weeks, everything was so profoundly beautiful. Every tree, every human being, every living thing was just profound with its beauty. I could see, well, Hermes calls Father Atom. I could see Atom revealed everywhere. and in everyone. And that might be kind of what you were referencing when you looked at that guru, that mirror, that it's one sun. So thank you. I'm
Yeah.
complete.
I was reading recently, and I believe that there was, before the spark of creation, there was no relationship. The only way to have a relationship was to leave the garden. Well, the garden was pretty much oneness. There was no other.
Mm.
And so we are, and in the beginning we tried to leave, but we didn't want to leave because it was just pure love. But then we're all have become individuated in order to come back to the oneness, back to the garden, or back to the oneness where there is no relationship. I like the relationship of devotion and prodigal child. I like individuation. And like you said, Anna, there is, like, every one of us are expressing that life is in, that godliness is in every individual. That's the game. I'm complete.
Thank you, Steve. Joy, you are up. Paragraph 44.
all right.
Could you but realize?
Could you but realize?
Could you but realize?
For a single instant, okay, could you but realize for a single instant the power of healing that the reflection of God shining in you can bring to all the world, who could not wait to make the mirror of your mind clean? You could not wait to make the mirror of your mind clean, to receive the image of the holiness that heals the world. Wow. The image of holiness which shines in your mind is not obscure and will not change. Its meaning to those who look upon it is not obscure, for everyone perceives it as the same. All bring their different problems to its healing light, but all their problems are met only with healing there. The power of healing that the reflection of God shining in you can bring to all the world. Oh, you could not wait to make the mirror of your mind clean. You're right. It's not obscure and will not change. You know, we have that power, right? He said, you're not powerless. You know, we have the power of God within us. We can align our will. I can align my will with the will of the Father and shine the light that is the truth. And I think that's why I came. I'm remembering why I came. And it's really hard because I get sucked in to the drama. We call it drama of everything. It's sucked right in. But you know, when I get some clarity, I remember that I chose to be here. I'm not a victim of this world. I chose to be here. Why? You know, to know that light that I am, to see it in my brother, to go home together, I think. But, you know, anyways, it's beautiful. I liked it. Thank you. Anybody else?
Well, back about 40 years ago, there were these perfect mirrors called gurus. But now, 40 years later, each one of you are, and me, are to be that perfect mirror.
That's right.
I'm complete.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. When you read this book, God doesn't ask us to do anything. We're not asked to do penance or evangelize or, well, okay.
Let your love light shine.
Right. But you're not asked to pick up a gun and defend your faith. I mean, you know, there's just so many things. The only thing that whenever I can feel it, the only thing that I understand is to reflect. So I guess that's where the mirror comes in, is that mirror is there. And what was funny was we were talking about this all the way through this. We've been talking about a mirror. And I remember one time I had a pair of sunglasses that I didn't realize it, but they were mirrors on the outside.
Right.
And
People would like to look at themselves.
well, I was standing there and I had just picked the kids up. So I was standing there and my ex-wife was going off on, I remember what it was, but you know, that's good that I can't remember. But finally, she she was trying to still be mad and look at me, and all she could see herself in the sunglasses. So instead of realizing that,
She's told you to take
she
the
asked me to take the
sunglasses.
glasses off so she could keep going. And I went,
Uh-huh.
I feigned, not stupidity, but I feigned what?
That's funny.
And it totally
Oh.
it totally disarmed her.
It's almost like, Steve, when you were looking in the mirror crying and then you smiled.
Well, that's it. When he told that story, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's like,
That is
so,
so cool.
but
Wow.
I mean, it is interesting. There was when I've been at this place where I work now. I'll be there 7 years in August. And when I first got there was somebody in our department, and almost from day one, we didn't get along. I mean, I did everything I could to, diffuse the situation, but it just stayed that way. And it stayed that way and stayed that way. So finally I thought, okay, what she's reflecting to me is her surface. So I need to look past her surface. And one time I looked at her and I went right past everything, all this conflict. I went right past it and saw an innocent child of God. And from that point on, I was like, okay, I can't go back. I know it's there. I know it's there.
The game's up, huh?
The game's up. Yeah, that's like that. The game's up. And I realized that she kept trying. And I would just look at her and look right past whatever the conflict was. And finally she just gave up trying to have a conflict. So,
That's
but
that is so cool.
yeah, and she's still there, and she's still she's still there. So
I must have been in a yogic state when I was like 5 years old and I did that, because what I did was, I mean, I was really crying for good reason. I remember I was really like being immersed in this crying state. And at that, being the young yogi at the time or something, being innocent child, I went, what is this thing called crying and this emotion? And I went, how about try this? And it was something like that.
That's cute.
I was on to something.
That's cute.
well, 5 years 5 years old, it could have been your previous incarnation too. That was
I don't know about that stuff.
Come on.
That's a nice belief.
Has anybody read the book Initiation by Elizabeth H? That book is I went into an altered state of consciousness. Maybe I had a past life in Egypt. She was in meditation and she re-experienced her life in Egypt. And the reason I'm mentioning this, Steve, is because she was a priestess learning she was in training. And the way they trained was that you would be sad, and full of grief or anger even, and really filled with it and immersed in it. And then you would just flip it and to sheer bliss, just to show the illusory nature of the people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had really vivid imaginations of being in Egypt and all that stuff.
Oh.
And I've had, stuff like that. But
Wow.
what I'm being told now by my integrity is to stick with my experience now. That's what the business, that's my job title right now.
There
This
you
is
go.
only now.
All right.
All your experiences are just now. And look at that, Chris, that first paragraph that you're going to read. It's amazing.
Oh, well,
Oh, somebody else is going to read it?
no, I was going to ask if Anna, would you like to read 45? And then we'll wait for, and share. And then if there's anything after that, we got 10 minutes. So Anna, would you mind reading 45? Otherwise I can do it. Oh, she came up.
Sure, I'll read it.
Okay.
Mhm. And is my hand still up?
No, ma'am.
Nope.
Oh, okay, good. So it starts with the response of holiness, right? Because my book's a little different.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. The response of holiness to any form of error is always the same. There is no contradiction in what holiness calls forth. Its one response is healing, without regard for what is brought to it. Those who have learned to offer only healing because of the reflection of holiness in them are ready at last for heaven. There, holiness is not a reflection, but rather the actual condition of what was but reflected to them here. God is no image, and his creations, as part of him, hold in them in truth. Hold him in them in truth. They do not merely reflect truth, for they are truth. Hmm. Yeah, just calling heaven. You know, he says earlier that here earth can reflect heaven or hell. You know, and I've heard in discussions in different course groups, you know, I'll hear some course students say, well, you can tell that this world is just ego, that this world is just illusion because of what we see here. But it can also reflect heaven. So in every given moment, we are choosing which sight to see through. Are we going to look through the eyes of Christ, or are we going to look through the eyes of the ego? And when we choose the eyes of Christ, everything becomes amplified and the light is brought forward. And I just think the ego is the illusion. We never left heaven. We're all here, and we fell asleep for the joy of waking up. And isn't it just so fun? As we talk to each other about this course, as I listen to all of you make me laugh with your jokes and your beautiful stories, isn't this a wonderful experience to be waking up together? Isn't it truly miraculous to realize that we're still in heaven right now if we but choose the atonement and our eyes open and the mirror is washed clean and we see that we truly never left? We just fell asleep. And that's stated in many parts of the Essene Gospels. It's stated in much literature, spiritual literature across times and across cultures, that's what happened here. We all just took a nap, and now we're all just waking up together, and the more we wake up, the more we're gonna laugh and giggle and feel that beautiful joy right here and right now. Yeah, thank you. I'm complete.
Thank you, Anna.
Go ahead, Steve, and then Paula.
Yeah, the problem with the idea of a mirror to me, or maybe I'll think about my mind as the mirror that turns 180 to this, because there's this self-effulgent light, it's been called, and I sense it, and it's inside of every nucleus of every cell in my body. Inside of me is this light. I am that light. So the mirror kind of says, oh, I can mirror something other than me, but actually that self-effulgent light is innate to that's who I am. So the mirror isn't like reflecting some other God outside of who I am. That self-effulgent light is my true identity. So maybe the mirror is my mind turning and reflecting it perfectly.
Nice. Go ahead, Paula.
Thanks, Steve.
Is Steve done?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. when Anna was talking about heaven, I can't get there by myself. But when I follow Holy Spirit's guidance, I had a real glimpse of it recently with a person who she and I are like oil and water. We just don't mix. And I had to, I was involved in something with her and really going into it feeling like, oh my God, I'm going to have conflict with her. But then realizing I will have conflict with her if I don't bring the Holy Spirit into this. And I tell you, I had guidance all the way through this situation and really had a glimpse of heaven. And I think ever since I wonder, why don't I do this more often? No, but that's I guess the human condition.
Yeah.
But with the Holy Spirit,
Yeah.
everything is possible. I'm done.
Yeah. Maybe your cat is the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. She's doing good.
I tell you, man.
I'm surprised she's not in here tonight. I don't know what she's doing.
Yeah. Amazing.
So I just wanted to say, because I really noticed that in the reading, Steve was talking about, well, we're not mirrors, we have this light in us. And that's exactly what that last paragraph is saying. In heaven, their holiness is not a reflection, but the actual condition of what was reflected. God is no image, and we hold him in us in truth. We do not merely reflect truth because we are truth. So I think the idea is in this world, there's those veils the mirror gets dirty and there's all those things, but that's from our perspective, like the battleground or above the battleground. It's like what's really going on is that we are that light. But I think, and I think it's always useful to kind of keep in mind, like, is it talking about what's true from our perspective here, that, oh, there's something in the way, or is that, well, what's really true is there's nothing. And again, that idea of relationships, there's nothing separating me from God because God created me like himself. So there's not God in me. It's just
That's
all of us, right? So yeah, so that's really the thing. It's like here, so, but I think it's a very practical guide. And so it's like, well, this is a useful idea. Like right now in this moment, am I being a clear mirror? And like Paula, you made that decision. I'm going to be in this moment. I'm clear. And I see that because I asked for that guidance. And by the way, why don't I always do that? And that's the $1 million question, right?
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is true.
maybe life on Earth is a big colonic to clear the
Steve,
mirror.
wow, I don't need that analogy.
I just think it's a game. I think that's a more pleasant analogy.
Yeah.
Divine Leela, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dance.
Yeah. Let's come up with something better than
I'm gonna leave this session with the idea of the atonement is kind of like a twister, a divine force. It's not just some mental thing. Thank you for that. I never thought of the atonement as a field of purifying wind
Wow.
within.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We have to
I
step
think it's
into it and stay in it. Go ahead, Anna.
Yeah.
it's
Get blown away by it.
It's frequency.
Hmm.
So the
Yeah.
ego exists at a lower frequency
Uh-huh.
than the atonement. The atonement lifts the frequency. And as your vibration lifts, your awareness lifts. So it is energy, all is energy, right? Light all comes from light, and light is pure energy. I mean, in physics, I studied science for most of my life. So frequency, in the other teachings worldwide, as they teach about the light body, the rainbow bridge, the ego exists from the solar plexus down. And once you go past the solar plexus, that's why in A Course in Miracles, he teaches us we must go through the heart. The heart is above the solar plexus. So when we hit the solar plexus, that's a frequency, that's a level of energy. And the atonement brings us through our solar plexus, up through our heart, through our throat chakra, through our third eye, and up through our crown. And our mind is atoned. And so it literally is energy frequency. That's why sometimes if you're in a very egoic state and you're really struggling, you can listen to frequencies and you will find that it lifts you and it becomes it's easier to receive the atonement and be lifted up through the atonement just by simply listening to a frequency that is above the solar plexus. As just a general understanding from other philosophies in the world. Thank you.
What's that, Steve?
Oh,
The tornado, it can suck trees right up. It can pull out ego. It can lift
Yeah.
semis.
yeah, yeah.
Just pull it right up.
I made one for
But
science.
the atonement tornado is a lot more gentle.
Well, I think so. Yeah, I made a tornado in science class. So, okay, we're past 7:45.
Or a quarter of the hour.
Quarter of the quarter
of the hour. Quarter to the hour.
7:45.
Quarter to the hour. There's other hours in people's lives. They're all over the place. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, don't be so egocentric, Chris.
Yeah. There we go. All right.
So
Let's just all
yeah, I got
close
an
our eyes and pretend we're all holding hands.
Yeah, when we met in person, what we would do is end by holding hands, but it's just as we did a centering or a relaxation during the beginning, it's always nice to close the session. It sort of gives it closure by just connecting. And it's a communion of the one self that we share with one another and with our source. We feel that connection and that communion. And where two or more are gathered, there I am. And I want to just read the little bit from today's lesson. It's so beautiful. Christ has dreamed the dream of a forgiven world. It is his gift whereby a sweet transition can be made from death to life, from hopelessness to hope. Let us an instant dream with him. His dream awakens us to truth. His vision gives the means for a return to our unlost and everlasting sanctity in God. And so it is.
So it is.
Amen.
Thank you all.
Thank you all tonight. Namaste. Stay safe. Stay dry. Stay
The
warm.
recording will
A
be
wonderful week.
on our
Yeah.
YouTube.
Have a good
Namaste.
weekend.
Thank you.
Namaste.
No mistake.
When you see you.
Namaste.
Oh, the Powerball numbers. We had the Powerball
Oh, yeah.
numbers. They're we'll have to get back to you. All right. Thanks. Good night.